Welcome to Magical Aspirations, a podcast for magical people,
where we aspire to gather all of the knowledge that magic has to offer.
A place to illuminate and demystify all things magical.
We are your magical co-hosts. I am Annalisa.
Reverend Raven here.
Adreyauna.
Tune in every Tuesday where we're dropping new episodes every week about our own personal magical stories.
Have a spanking good time.
And sprinkle some interviews in between.
There is so much magic here. Keep coming back every week. Stay magical.
Stay magical.
Stay magical. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome the frick back to Magical Aspirations. It is Adreyauna, and of course, you know, I am joined by the beautiful Reverend Raven and Annalisa. Say hello.
Cuckoo!
Hello. Hi. Happy June.
Hi. Happy June.
We are riding the waves of a post-strawberry full moon, which was in Sagittarius. And I don't have any words right now, but maybe that'll come up later. We have had some transitions, and we thought, what a better type of energy to soak in and talk about fire. Like, what gets better than that?
Fire.
I am so incredibly excited to talk about fire, the element of fire, how it feels for us, what relations we have in it, how we use its magic, all the things. All the things. Where do we even begin with fire?
I have no idea. Because there is you've heard us talk about it before. We are fire. The three of us, we just fire all over the place.
We're sizzling hot.
Oh, yes we are.
I guess we could start there. Just you know, what kind of fire energy do we have going on within ourselves and our birth charts?
Okay. We were just talking about that before we hopped on.
We were.
Pull that bad girl up. So it turns out that even for me, as fiery as I am a 29-degree Aries through and through. So that is a huge chunk of fire there. But the only other thing that I have a fire sign in, my part of fortune, is in Sagittarius. And that's it.
To me, it sounds like a beginning and an end. It's almost like a zipper. You started with fire and you ended with fire, but everything else in between is...
Oh, how fascinating. I actually like that a lot because so you guys know that we are not master astrologists by any, I just Google things here and there. And none of us really knew much of what the part of fortune was about. And it turns out it has to do with the prosperity in your life. So that's an intro. I like how you say that about the beginning and the end of now there's a whole new thing that I have never even delved into before. And like Sagittarius, my sister is a Sagittarius, and that's really the only really experience I have with one.
How interesting. Sages are wild. They're wild people to me. They're some of the most honest people I've ever met, but also some of the most unserious people I've ever met in my life. And I love them for that.
Well, and it's interesting too, you're talking about the full moon in Sagittarius, right?
Yes.
Right. We just had that. And one of my closest friends, Jen, that we interviewed on the podcast, is a Sag as well. And she is a wandering heart for sure. Like even when she owned a house and lived in one city for a long time, her heart was always wanting to go different places and travel and things like that. And it was not lost upon me that I loaded up the van and moving trailer on the Sagittarius full moon.
Yeah, that checked out.
Drove it 1,000 miles away to move to the family farm, which my relationship with where I'm from has morphed over the years. And one of the reasons that I moved to New Orleans is because I did not like where I was from. I felt like everyone was the same and that I was going to be stuck in this little mold of what everyone expected me to be. I felt like I always had to be this muted version of myself, just to kind of fit in, and people still thought that I was fucking weird, even when I tried to fit in. So like I was, had this like bad taste in my mouth about being from a small place. And after spending the last 9 years living in a city and in New Orleans and being surrounded by people all the time, but having like some amazing life experiences and everything, really could think of nothing more that I would want to do than go live in the country for a bit.
Yeah.
And then this is a landing point, like a jumping off point for our next big goal, which is to have a camper or RV that we can travel around the country with, doing our different business plans, meeting different people and things like that. But it's time to sow some roots for a little while.
Well, I think that's what's interesting about Sagittarius too, is that it's very much the wanderer, the one who wants to explore all the things. But I think Sagittarius energy is also it's a study type of energy. It's I need to learn, and I'm not just here to do it for frivolous exploration, not all the time, but I'm also here to really deeply understand, get to the root and understand the morphs and the transformations and the reactions. And so y'all coming to this place that was familiar to you, but is now you're a completely different person. And so this exploration is deeper, and you're doing it with your partner, and y'all are different as a couple. So it's just like, it just
a lot of
like,
changes, but it's time to do this,
I love that.
And I find it interesting, like how you were talking about like your distaste for small town living once upon a time. Like it was almost like your fire was being smothered there, and then you had to come to New Orleans to be able to burn bright. And now that's a nice solid fire that you get to take back there with you.
Yes.
Oh, I like that. Snaps to that.
Thank you. What new things are you going to shed light on there? Like that's I love when we talk about the elements and fire. It's so fire is one of my favorite because it's so kind of unstable, a little volatile. Like it's not something you control at all, but
it's wild.
It's life-giving, it's life-ending. So like I've been thinking a lot about like flames as like a moving thing. So Becky and I got to go to a ritual with Lori. Oh, when was that now? I'll have to go flip through. Maybe
it was around
May.
Your birthday.
Yes, it was right after I got back from my trip to the Pacific Northwest. We got to go to this really cool ritual thing. And anyway, we got these candles that are imbibed with St. Bridget's flame. And that is a candle. I keep it here. It's right in front of my desk because like that, when you look at her stories and her myths and the things, like she's all about like your passions. And like, that's what we called on in that session. So you've gotten to bring that specific creativity fire back with you to this like really special home place. So
absolutely.
I don't know what exactly was the point.
So many fucking ideas of what I'm gonna do here, but it starts with the spark. I was at their hardware store and I was at the farm market buying vegetables today, and I'm looking at what signs are hanging up about benefits that they have coming up. And there's a motorcycle ride to raise money for some ladies' cancer treatments, and there's this poker run going on for this benefit and things like that. And to see those things, and we were driving home and I wanted to go by the community center because Mom said that's where they do the pancake breakfast to raise money for the food pantry. Those are the things that I am going to bring to this area, not the things they're already doing, but be able to touch more of the community, fuel other people's passions and their creativities by showing them what we can all do together.
Yes. Okay. Mission statement. I see.
Yeah, I know, right, ma'am? I'm so glad that is recorded. Like, snaps. Yes, this is so. I'm so excited for you guys. Yes.
Okay, and then just shift to my chart then, so you can see me feeling this. Leo Sun, 29 degrees Aries Moon, 29-degree Leo Mercury.
Oh, good heavens.
Sagittarius is my Jupiter, Uranus, and Neptune.
Wow. Oh my God.
So much fire.
Right.
The girl is fire.
And that's intense.
Yeah. And so to relate that to magic, when I first started learning about magical practices and energy work, fire was the first element that I was able to connect with. So we would do different, exercises and energy work and things like that. I could feel energy as heat or like absence of heat. Now that I've been working with it for a while, I do feel like cold as well. But at first, I could just feel like things getting really hot in certain areas. Or like I would go into a room and I would feel hot, like a hot flash or something like that, or get cold chills. I get cold chills quite a bit when something of significance happens. I feel temperature variances within my body, and that tells me that there's a shift in the energy.
Interesting.
Fascinating. Very. I want to ask 150 questions just off of that. Do you how do I want to word this? Compared to how you associated with fire in the beginning of your practice, how is that relationship now? What does it feel like? I know you were talking about the temperatures, but like going into like the philosophy and things like that, how does it feel?
Now I can learn how to use fire with the other elements, I would say more. Whereas before I would just like channel fire and use fire energy, and then I'd finish something and then I'm like crash, like fire, and then boom, I'm down, out for the count. And so I've been learning how to channel that fire along with the other elements, like using in conjunction, like last week when we were talking about air energy, combining the air with the fire. Well, that helps to fuel the fire. So I'm not having to like push all of the fire energy out of me personally. I'm combining it with the air to give it more fuel for the fire.
Oh, so fascinating.
Oh, I know. That's me.
Favorite things to do, I would say, with fire is like scrying in a fire. Like say you have a campfire burning and you have it all set up with the logs, and you just like stare into the fire and stare long enough that you kind of lose your focus. And then just see what kind of images that you see or what kind of feelings that you get from like connecting with that fire.
That's some old Chrome magic right there.
That is, and that I have been an old lady since I was a child. That is one of the things that like I didn't realize was magic that I was doing my whole life. So like even just to have like even right now in front of me, I've just got this like candle from Winn-Dixie, and like it smells dope. But I love to like hold the candle like and look at the flame and like roll it around and see the wax move around. Like that has been like a deep meditative thing that I've always done. And like that's the fire, like Becky's saying, like that's your fire like talking to you, like telling you how it wants to communicate with you. Like I love so when you were talking about like how you communicate with fire now, I'm interested for how like fire during ritual, like how has that evolved? Because like I know a little bit about some of the details of your rituals. They tend to be outside. They tend to be around a fire. Like being so much fire, like being in front of a big fire like that, how much does that like influence you?
So it's funny, and the reason that I'm giggling is because in the last 2 years, since I've really, I would say, opened up my magical practices and, you know, allowing my personal magical power to be open, I will get a new ritual dress or new clothes or something to wear. If I wear it the first time that I wear it to a ritual, there will be some kind of a burn hole in it. When I'm finished. No,
Baptized by fire, baby.
No joke. Like you'll have a smudge stick and it doesn't want to light and it's being stubborn, and then I just close my eyes and I focus on it, and all of a sudden it is like burning so hot that there's sparks flying off of it. I'm like going around smudging and there's sparks flying, and I'm like, oh, okay, let's tamper that down a little bit. So it has been a change and a shift, but it's because, like I said, I feel like I'm connecting more with the other elements as well. Channeling in the air and using the power of that to communicate messages that I'm seeing from the fire. Something when you were talking about the candles that, you know, obviously a lot of people think of candle magic with fire. One of the first things that I can remember as a new practitioner where I did something myself and I was like, whoa, there's a result there. My uncle had passed away, and I will just say, wasn't a very great person. And he died of a drug overdose in my grandmother's house after she passed away, and had a lot of feelings about his death, you know, feeling like maybe it wasn't a terrible thing that he passed away, and, you know, things like that. But I wanted his spirit to be at rest and at ease. And I was burning a black candle in the fireplace where I lived, my first apartment. And, you know, it wasn't like a working fireplace. The flue was closed and everything, so I couldn't have a real fire in there. But I'm burning the black candle in just like a little dish with sand in it. Because I'm a baby witch and I have, you know, 3 things that I can practice with at my altar.
Absolutely.
You know, I had a little dish with sand in it, and I'm burning the black candle, and I'm, you know, talking to the spirits and saying, you know, to please help my Uncle Brian to pass on to the other side and for his spirit to finally be at rest. And then as the candle is burning down, the wax is going into the sand and the glass breaks. And I looked down into, I just got cold chills, looked down into the wax, and it was in the shape of a raven.
Shut the fuck up.
It was clearly a bird, you know.
Magic is fucking real.
It was the raven saying that they were carrying his spirit onto where it was supposed to go.
Oh, wow. I would just be bawling.
Yeah, I was like, what? Like, I knew it was real, but, you know, I'd seen other people do things that were real, but it was the first time that I did something in myself, like a spell, and I, like, saw it have results, you know? It was like, okay.
Right. Like, this is no longer a joke. This is the real deal. That's so fascinating. And it's interesting. Like, that's the other great thing about fire, is that it's such a tangible element. Like, I felt like the conversation last week was a little flighty, but it was air. Like, it's supposed to be flighty, right? And like, it's so easy. You can even we're 20 minutes in now. Like, our fire for fire is it's tangible.
Very
you
relevant.
Can feel it. Like,
very
yeah. That is, and Becky, I love, one of my favorite things about you is that you've had so much experience. Like you can like clearly denote like baby witch, beginner witch, like now you're this whole new level of thing. And I love to be able to see the growth of how your magic changes as you work on yourself and do your work and all of that stuff. So that is fire, if you will.
My passion is to fuel others' fire too. And the more that I fuel others' fire, the more that it fuels my own fire.
Yeah.
Mission
I love
accomplished,
that.
I would say. Like
Check.
mission fully in progress, but also mission accomplished on the way. I am
Absolutely.
fascinated to know about Adreyauna's chart though.
Oh,
Spill
what
the
is in this
tea.
chart? So I am funny enough, I am a Aries sun, Sag moon, both at 10 degrees. A Venus Aries, Aries and Venus. Okay, yeah. And then also my Lilith is in Aries.
Ooh.
Yeah, very intense there. So yeah, but the rest of my chart is mostly water. So that fire came in and said boom, and then
Right.
had to fizzle out a little bit.
Throw some water on it.
Yeah. Definitely, yeah. I don't know. I'm still learning more about the Aries Venus and what that actually means, and the Aries sun. And I think I'm definitely the playful Aries type of energy, very much a hothead, even though I have healed and gotten a lot better. Yeah, I don't know. I also feel like my fire is like you, Becky, in that I can feel it in my body very much. During like those moments where I was going to church, when I would actually feel something that resonated with me, I would get that heated up body sensation too.
Okay.
And the same thing happens when I'm doing reading or I am doing some type of spell work. And candles are some of my absolute favorite things, but I also do love to, I think fire also taught me how to be careful in my practice as well. And I am very much thankful for that lesson. Because had I not almost like burnt a hole in my wall, I never would have taken the time to be easy, to go slow. You don't have to add that much fucking oil in the candle. You can, like, less is more, babe. Less is more.
That's hard to tell a fire sign, but
Wrong.
I'm like, but really, are you sure?
If a little is good, more must be better.
Clearly, that is the math. Yeah. It took a lot of burnt things. I still have the table. I started doing my first candle work on it. It has a lot of burn holes in it, but it's so precious. I'm not getting rid of it. Yeah, fire taught me how to be safe. Fire taught me that you will fuck some shit up if you don't get it together. Get it all the way together, both mentally, physically, and actually in your practice. So
yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I was taking a shower before we started this and just kind of thinking about what did I want to talk about with fire, and that was exactly it. So we made it like easily 25 minutes into this episode without me really mentioning Avatar, but it's here. The way that they introduce it, I love, because the first time you start to see Aang deal with fire, he deals with someone who does not have good feelings about their firebending. Master Zhong, he knows that he was a big part of all of the destruction and the chaos and all of that fire can bring, and that's what he learns about fire first. But it's such an important message to learn. Like, you don't get to get to the warm, fuzzy bits of fire without realizing that it fucking hurts. The first we at 6 years old on a 4-wheeler for the first time, I got this really bad burn on my leg because I wasn't wearing pants like I should have been. Like rule number 1 when you're driving a 4-wheeler, pants. And that was my first experience with fire, and like that shit fucking hurts. And it's not, fire's not forgiving. Like it is what it is. Like fire is hot, fire is wild, and you have to respect it.
Yeah.
You have to respect it. So
absolutely.
yes.
It is. It's a very much give it room. And I think one of the reasons why I love Zuko so fucking much, I will die on the hill that Zuko is the best character outside of Uncle Iroh. But it's because of his story around like being introduced to his fire through anger and rage. And because same 5, 7, 10 years ago, I was angry, mad, just at everything, but trying so hard to contain it. And because I was trying hard to contain that pain, that rage, that fuck everything, I ended up hurting some of the closest people to me. And I had to learn, I had to deal with that guilt, had to deal with the redemption story, and even trying to come back to the fact that, yeah, you still deserve good things, even though you were a shitty person then. You can come back from this. You can be love. Love does not leave just because you have once been a monster. And that's me having to come back into that.
So like it makes me very emotional. Oh my God.
It was hard. Shit, it sucks. But then I started associating fire with like, yeah, fire is life. And I started connecting to the sun, connecting to the heat within my own body, and pleasure. Pleasure is very warm to me, very cozy and cocoony. And that when I was able to connect those associations to fire, that's when things shifted to where even if I am mad, angry, and in pain, this isn't the only way that it can be expressed. And it's also, I don't need to demonize that consistently, if that makes sense.
So, too much sense. Yes, ma'am.
Like, we're all like, yep, yep. Totally feel it. I could be a fucking asshole, man. I totally get it. And I had such a temper whenever I was younger. Such a temper. I had to come to terms with that people didn't deserve to hear some of the things that I said to them.
That's
oh man, that was hard. And that was part of Adam and I getting back together, was me like owning that and saying you didn't deserve the way that I treated you. I was wrong. You were right. I was wrong, and you didn't deserve to be treated like that, and you didn't deserve to deal with my temper of me saying unkind things. But then after me going through that and saying that, then like you were saying, Adreyauna, realizing that I didn't have to continue to beat myself up for the way that I was in the past.
Yeah. It's a hard walk, but it's worth it.
And now my fire has turned into more, like you said, more like sunshine. Like I'm spreading the joy instead of the anger.
And that is, I'm immensely fascinated at just the similarities between, I'm sure, obviously between all of us, I'm sure whoever's listening, about that struggle that you go through. Like what you said, how did you word that, Adreyauna? About being
I don't know.
Right? Like, you about being a monster, like Becky was saying, like I did shitty things, acknowledging that. Like that's such a hard thing, but once it's so gratifying to get back to the point of the warm fire, like
Yeah.
you're saying. It feel like you were talking about like pleasure feeling warm, and like
Mhm.
colorful for me is like color is a I was listening to a podcast a couple of weeks ago about how there is this theory about color in childhood and like childish things, and that like especially if you look at society in America now, it's very white, it's very gold, it's very beige, it's very all of these toned down quote unquote adult things, and like color, like it makes my inner child happy, like it makes me feel fire. Like, okay, so hopefully this will maybe be the last Avatar reference, but when they get to meet the dragons, when they I know, right, I'm gonna talk about it forever. Aang and Zuko meet the dragons, and they're swirled up in this swirl of colorful flame, and Zuko, one of them says something about like seeing colors I've never seen before, and it's fascinating to listen to that theory about the connection to color and like fire and inner child and childhood, and that we do live in this very muted color world. Don't get me wrong, a basic bitch loves something gray, but like it's color everywhere for me. It's color. It's like holographic shit. It's like iridescence. Like there's rainbow everything all over my house, because that's what feels fireful to me.
Oh, how beautiful.
Thoughts?
I love that. I love that.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, 100%. I think now where I am in my, I guess, inner child healing journey, I am exploring that. I'm actually testing and wearing colors now, to where before I was just like, a black is fine, a brown is fine, we'll make it work. But now I'm actually like, I wore a full pink suit today. Like, what?
Yes.
Wild.
I love that.
It feels like revved up. And growing up, I was very much a colorful, like I wanted to put all the colors on at one time.
Right.
You know, we learned that, oh no, you can't do that. That's too loud. That's too loud. And now I'm like, yeah, fuck that.
I want to be
loud.
I want to be loud, damn it.
Exactly. Yeah. It's something you were saying about the dragons reminded me about fire being this teacher in connection to like animal magic too, around nature is neutral. There is no good, there is no bad. Nature just is what it is. And fire being such a beautiful example of nature is neutral. And seeing the animals, especially like animals that maybe you were afraid of, and how do you use that magic? How do you tap into that energy? Well, maybe you need to see it from a very neutral point of view and not try to push all of your fears upon this thing that's just simply existing, if that makes sense.
Oh,
yeah.
The other thought that I had whenever you said that was about like wildfires. Like the magical transformation of a wildfire. And again, nature not being good or bad, it being neutral. The forest needs the wildfires to survive. It needs it to have that reset.
Oof. Yeah.
And sometimes we need that in our lives too, for that reset. Like that's the fucking Tower card. That's what I have been going through for the last few months, living that tower so I can start over, you know?
Yeah, when you bring up the wildfires, and that makes me, it was a fascinating thing to watch this year. Near where I live, they burnt this one specific part of there's this pitcher plant nature preserve. And they like burned like the full like first quarter of it. And you could tell like last year and the year before they did not do this, and it struggled through the really hot beginning summer months and things like that. And you would see a lot of brown, and it was really fascinating. This year they burnt it all, and within 2 weeks, maybe not even that long, everything was green. And so I think it's such a fascinating testament to how if you things will heal, things will regenerate, things will renew, but sometimes you need the catalyst of fire for the new growth to start sooner.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Yep. How
Mm.
philosophical. Okay.
Yeah, I surprised myself on that one. I'm not gonna lie. Like, well, hey, this is also a testament to the trust we give to spirit when we're here, because we knew we were talking about fire today, and like this is what you got so far, people. So, and I feel like there have been profound moments between all three of us so far.
Yes.
And so I love how spirit, it knows fire is so important to us. And so like spirit's like, they're like, I got you. Like, here's some philosophical shit. Let me mic drop that on you. Like
So with that being said, I'm looking ahead at the calendar, and the summer solstice is coming up.
It is.
And that is
date
a very
on that?
fiery celebration. Oh, here's
Oh,
Grandpa.
are you
We have to wait for the clock.
Magic is real.
I cannot. They said ding 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 right on time.
We're gonna wait for that. Okay, so June 21st is the date of the summer solstice this year.
Mm-hmm.
And we are going to make a sundial out here at the new property.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
So we can watch the movement of the sun, and we're gonna have a small bonfire. But we've got a little fire pit out by the old barn that Mom had set up. So we're gonna have a little bonfire out there, and it's gonna be our 3-year wedding anniversary.
Happy anniversary. Happy anniversary.
Yeah. Yes.
So it's very special because we were supposed to have that wedding here on the property.
Oh, stop.
Yeah, that's right.
With all my family. And yeah, so we're gonna actually be here this year.
I can't. And 3 is just like the number of like fertility and creativity and things coming together. And
Yeah.
I love love.
So
I love love. I love love.
and even though my dad wasn't able to come to the ceremony that we had because it was during COVID, I know that he will be here in spirit on his farm.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, he will. Yeah, he will. That is so exciting. It's also the 3rd anniversary of Reverend Raven. Also, don't forget that, ma'am.
She's like, yeah, Adam's great, but
well, it is. Well, look at all of the things that you are in the process of creating right now. Like none of that would be possible if it weren't for what your mom and your stepdad did. So I love that it's so important to you to make sure that he's included in that, and he knows.
Yeah.
He knows.
I
love you.
Oh, I love you guys.
I love you.
Trying to talk through the tears there.
No, sorry.
I found this picture today that I found before, but my mom had it made into, you know how you can get pictures printed on like wood, so you can hang it on the wall and whatever. There's this picture that he took where he was standing in front of the farmhouse, and he took it down the road, and it would have been whenever he was in the army and was home on leave. So he served in the army during the Vietnam War. He served in Korea and then in Panama. And so when he was home on leave, he would have been like 20 years old. And he was standing out in front of the farmhouse in the middle of the street here and took a picture down the road. And he, in my mind, you know, when I seen this picture, was trying to figure out what path he was going to take, what journey that he was going to live on his life. And we found that picture, Mom and I, whenever we were going through everything after he passed away. And so I put it with some pictures from when he was a young man, and then a family picture at my brother's wedding which has all of the kids and everything in it too, our whole big family. And it has the road less traveled, the poem.
Stop. Oh my God.
And so I put that together and I made that for Christmas presents for my brothers and my mom, last year. And then I was going through the drawers underneath the American flag that the Army had presented after my dad passed away. And the letter from the president saying thank you for your service to the Army, like they do. I found that picture right under the flag. And so I set it up right by the flag.
I love it.
And I took the road less traveled by, and that has made all the difference.
How 2 of Wands. Ugh.
Stop. No, ma'am. No, wait. I was pulling cards before we got up on here, and do you know what was at the bottom of the deck?
No.
It was the 2 of Wands. It was the 2 of Wands. And Becky, in the deck that I have that I use a couple of different ones. The one that it's the Art Nouveau Golden Tarot. So it's very similar to the traditional Rider-Waite, and it's just this young man standing on a precipice between 2 wands, holding the world in his hands, deciding where he's gonna go. Like I'm actually listening to this. Because it was also surrounded by, so the thing that I pulled, it was, what is my fire right now? That's what I asked the cards. And I pulled the 4 of coin and the Empress flew out together on top of each other. And then the 2 of wands that's really important for me. Okay. I'm not going to go too deep into that, people. But my tarot people know. That's good for me.
Yeah.
But I was curious. I am on the precipice of starting on a new creative journey. So the way I've got this set up, it's between the 4 of coin, between the Empress, and that's exactly like you're saying, the importance of the road less traveled. Do the things, the full moon right now, I'm verbally processing this as we're talking about it, so bear with me. This full moon is helping to show you to take the path less traveled. Like whatever the things that aren't working, go the other way, do the other thing. Like Becky, for you guys knew New Orleans wasn't working, so you took the path less traveled, and like now you're on this the precipice of something really fertile and really great. And like I feel that way for all of us right now. Like take the path less traveled to create some dope ass shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm saying that to myself more than anyone.
And that's the fire, though.
It is. Like that's what's your fire? What's your fire? Where is it taking you?
This was so like just back to back, and that just the image that's, oh my God, words. The image that's coming to mind is like the way that neurons fire off in our brains, like that electricity. Oh yes.
That's fire.
That's fire.
That is fire.
That is
That's
fire.
absolutely
You
fire.
literally have fire in your brain. Stop.
Yes.
Stop. Okay.
But like you do though, well, and like you have fire in your heart. Like it's all electrical impulses in your heart. Like that's exactly what is magic and science. It's all the same thing, and it's all fucking cool.
And I feel, I love that you said that about the heart. I feel fire in my heart.
I feel fire in my heart. I absolutely feel it in my heart. I feel it too. I wanted to say this earlier when we were talking about like heat in the body. When I'm doing Reiki, that's how I know it's working. My hands and my feet get hot and the top of my head get hot. So like that's, fire is magic for me, for sure. Like water is magic, totally. Air, yes. But like fire, it's fire for me.
They're all great and they are all magical.
We love them all.
But fire though.
But that fire though.
It's real good.
Yeah.
It's like a drug. Like it's like a drug sometimes.
It really is.
Like sitting and like feeding logs into the fire. It is
I enjoy heat so much. I have to be careful how hot I run the water in the bath.
Oh yeah.
Because I have almost made myself pass out from getting lightheaded from sitting in too hot of water.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
That is incredible.
To everyone, this is a
Wow.
small PSA. Don't take a hot bath after you donate blood. It
Do not do that.
I know. I did it by accident. Don't do that. Because I could easily smother myself in a hot bathtub. Like, just like, I want it hotter. I want it higher. I just want to be like up to my ears in hot, burning my skin water. I love it.
Oh my God. I do love fire, but I hate being hot. Hate it with a passion. Like, my house is cold. I love the winter time, but like, I love to be cozy. I love to be snuggled up in a blanket.
Yeah.
And...
Oh, I don't like being like hot. Like, I just like being in like a hot bathtub. I don't want to be sticky.
I do love a good sauna though.
I do love a good sauna.
Yes.
Oh God. I guess I kind of feel like a little salamander sometimes.
Yep.
Like a little fire.
That's definitely me.
Baking in the sun.
Yeah.
Like whenever I was in Brazil, I had to constantly reapply sunscreen because I loved laying on the beach and sunbathing. But my white ass would burn so quickly.
That'll do it.
Like, okay, more sunscreen. And then I'd fall asleep on the beach while I was sunbathing. And so, like, I'd shirt over my eyes and fall asleep on my backpack and then wake up just like so hot and covered in sweat. It's like, oh, better wake up and put more sunblock on.
Don't have a single thought of going in the shade. More
sunscreen.
No, I'm not that much fire. Yeah,
I'm with you.
I could just wake up and go get in the water and cool off and then come out and put more sunblock on and do it again. That's my happy place.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna need at least an umbrella.
At least, me too.
Oh, ladies.
Well, this is.
Do we? Yeah. Is that all
else
for fire tonight?
No, I think that's it. My dog is gonna need to go outside, so she's telling me that I need to be done.
Well, if Zelda says it's time, then
it's
time. Thank you. Thank you so much, Spirit. Thank you, Annalisa. Thank you, Reverend. Thank you, Adreyauna. This was so juicy.
This was juicy. This was a good one.
And to all you wonderful, magical people, stay fiery and stay magical.
Stay fiery, magical. Stay magical.
Keep that fire in your heart.
Fire.
That girl is on fire.
That girl is on fire.
Okay, my last one. Come on, baby, light my fire.
We're for the karaoke hour.
Yeah. I love it.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Magical Aspirations. Be sure to like and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Magical Aspirations to keep up with the latest and the greatest from Annalisa, Adreyauna, and Reverend Raven, and to join in on the Magical Aspirations conversations. Come check out our website, magicalaspirations.com, to find bonuses from our guests, our Magical Aspirations blog, and to reach out to our magical hosts with questions, comments, reviews, or ideas for future episodes. We are so grateful for each and every one of you listening. Thank you again, and as always, stay true to your magic.